The art of saying no. In today's video, I'm going to dive into the importance of why, as men, we need to stop people pleasing and start saying no more, right? No is a complete sentence. Be like, no. If you're Canadian, no, thank you, right? We're going to dive into why it's hard to say no. We're going to talk about the importance of saying no. I'm going to give you guys some practical advice on how to actually start saying no so that we are coming at it from a healthy perspective, not as like an asshole. And we're going to look at what are the benefits of saying no. And if you're new to the channel, my name is Ian. I'm a men's coach. I've been working with men for a while now, and I've been running men's groups and been a part of men's work for many years. And I help men step into their power, gain clarity, and find their purpose in their life. So I hope you like this video. Don't forget to subscribe, like it. That's something you're into. And yeah, let's continue to talk about the importance of saying no. And I think the first area that I want to start with is, why is it so hard for men to say no, right? I've got some notes pulled up here, but so if I'm glancing down, you know why. The first thing is that we have a fear of disappointing others, right? So many men don't want to let people down. It's just weird. There's so much that's expected of men, right? We have a desire for approval, especially when it comes to women, right? If many men don't want to disappoint their mom, that will translate into relationships of like, you don't want to let your partner down. You don't want to say no. So you say no internally, but then you say yes externally, and then you start like resenting her or people for that. Social conditioning is a huge reason why it's so hard to say no. Like, we're taught that we're the protector, like we're the provider. Like, we need to be able to like push through, say yes, suck it up, and just go. Okay. And then guilt and shame, right? A lot of guys struggle with guilt and shame, and they don't want to say no because of like how they might feel guilty or ashamed. And those are difficult emotions for guys to process. So the easiest thing to do is just say yes. Then you don't have to face any guilt or shame that comes with that. Okay. So those are just a few reasons of why it's hard to say no. And the next thing that I want to talk about is around the importance. Like, why do we want to start saying no more often? The four things that I have written down are preserving energy, okay? Overcommitting ultimately leads to burnout, right? If we're just constantly saying yes, 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 we're going to burn out, right? There's only so many things you can take on as a man before your nervous system just completely collapses and wants to shut down, right? Saying no allows us to focus on priorities, right? If we say no to 90% of things, then that like, okay, this is what I'm focusing on right now. Maybe it's building a business. Maybe it's working on your relationship. But if you're just saying yes to all these other things, then you're not going to have the time or the energy to like really, really focus on what you want, right? It also protects your mental health, ultimately. Like, it reduces your stress, which then can reduce your anxiety, can reduce depression, feelings of overwhelm, which kind of go into the burnout thing. But ultimately, it's going to protect your mental health. So with that being said, I don't want to make this video too long. Like, I want to start diving into some practical ways that I have written down here around how do you start saying no without coming off like an asshole. Okay. So we want to be direct, but we want to be polite at the same time. We don't want to just be like, nope, not doing that. I'm a man. I'm going to protect my time. You don't want to do that. If somebody asks you to do something, you just say, look, I appreciate the offer. I appreciate the invitation, but tonight I really just want to stay in and meditate. You don't even have to give a description, but just be like, thank you for the offer. I really appreciate that, but tonight I'm really going to stay in. So I'll catch you guys next time. Super clean, super polite, but also super direct, right? You're not over-explaining. You're being respectful. You're not just saying no, although that is a complete sentence like we talked about. But yeah, ultimately, you're going to allow so much more time back into your life to focus on the things that you want to do. So some other ways that you can start saying no is by delaying your response. Like, if you're not sure, don't just say yes. Also, don't say no. Give it 24 hours. right? Somebody's like, hey, do you want to play dodgeball tonight? I'm playing dodgeball tonight. Like, do you want to play dodgeball tonight? Like, I didn't respond right away because I didn't know. I didn't want to say yes, but I didn't want to say no. So I gave it space and time to think about, right? I was like, I don't know. No need to rush into making a decision. So I let it sit for 24 hours and I was like, yeah, that actually sounds like a lot of fun. Hit the person back up and I was like, yeah, I'm in. Tuesday night. I'll see you there at 8 o'clock. Okay. So in terms of like other benefits when it comes down to setting boundaries is that you're going to learn how much you really value your own time, how much you value your own spaciousness, your own self-care. Right? Because this gets in the way of a lot of guys' personal self-care. If you're like, I've been a victim of this my whole life, saying yes to every client project, saying yes to every walk or hike that people ask me to go on. Yes to favors. Yes, I'll do the grocery shopping. I'll clean the garage. Like there's so much that I don't have to take on all at once. And what ends up happening is I drop my workouts or I drop my meditation practice in the morning, but you start to notice how overcommitting really means that like you're not focusing on the things that are important to you. You're focusing on things that are important to everybody else. And this is a people-pleasing behavior that so many guys carry, right? And if you're looking for a resource that wants to dive deeper into nice guy tendencies, I recommend you check out the book. So, No More Mr. Nice Guy by Robert Glover. Now, I will preface this. I'll be honest, I haven't read it, but I know so many guys that have read it and that have recommended it. I've listened to Dr. Robert Glover on podcasts, so I'm familiar with his work. I'm familiar with who he is, and I believe in his teachings. I just haven't physically read his book. I've consumed his content in video format on different podcasts and whatnot. So that's a really good book that I recommend you check out, or do what I did. Just search Dr. Robert Glover, No More Mr. Nice Guy, and he'll pop up on a whole bunch of podcasts. And he will be able to provide some better insights, some deeper insights into nice guy tendencies. So, yeah, also practice makes perfect. If you're not used to saying no, like I was for many years, it's going to feel uncomfortable when somebody asks you to do something and you're like, sorry, I really don't want to go. You know, I don't want to go to yoga. I don't want to go to the gym with you. I don't want to play dodgeball. Like, I don't want to have a conversation. I don't want to get coffee. It's going to be weird, man. Like, I tell you that from personal experience. And even with my partner, I'm like, she's like, do you want to go for a walk? And I'm like, oh, I wanted to go work out. Do I say it? Or do I just like, honestly, I'm just like, look, babe, like, I'd love to, but I kind of feel like I have gym on my calendar for 2 p.m. So I'd really love to honor that commitment to myself. And she's usually like, great. People, like, you teach people how you want to be treated, right? So if you're always saying yes to everything and then you all of a sudden start saying no, they might be like, oh, that's kind of weird. Usually you're saying yes to everything. So it's going to be a bit of a transition period, and that the tension, the fear, like it might come up for you, and that's okay. I would just recommend you sit with that, right? You start to say no and you're like, oh man, that's like, it's like really uncomfortable. I can feel the closure in my chest, and just remember to pull your shoulders back, breathe deep into your belly, and just, I'm safe. I'm okay. Okay. That is the art of saying no. If you liked the video, feel free to smash that like button. Let me know in the comments your thoughts on nice guy tendencies and the art of saying no, and how it's played out in your life, and if you have any more questions or tips on this matter. And I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Take care.